Maybe you are 25, 35, or even 50, and you're looking at your friend's engagement photos, someone else's new house, or a LinkedIn update about a promotion, and you feel that cold, sharp sting in your chest. You feel like you've missed a memo that everyone else got, or you feel like you are running a race on a track that everyone else has finished. But here is something that we never talk about. You cannot be behind in a life that has no universal finish line. Today, I want to talk to the part of you that feels like a failure, and I want to show you why falling behind can actually be a sign that you are finally starting to live for yourself. Let's be honest, we all grew up with an invisible timeline burned into our brains. Graduate by 22, career by 25, married by 30, and kids by 32. We treat life like a checklist. But who actually wrote that list? Usually, it's our parents' expectations, societal pressure, and the highlight reels we see on social media. When you feel behind in life, you aren't actually failing at life. You are failing at a fictional script that was written even before you knew who you were. If you've experienced loss, trauma, or a difficult childhood, your timeline was never going to look like everyone else's because when you were busy surviving, they were busy achieving and thriving. I want to introduce you to a concept that might change how you view your past or how you see it. If your nervous system has spent years in a state of high functioning trauma or freeze mode, your energy was being used for internal regulation and not external production. Think of it like this. If two people are running a marathon, one person is running on a paved road while the other is running through waist deep water, would you call the person in the water slow? Of course not. You'd think they're strong for even daring to move at all. Many are behind because they are running through the water of their past. Now, as we talk about falling behind, we must talk about comparison because unfortunately, we live in an age of social comparison on steroids. We compare our behind the scenes footage with everyone else's best of clips. When you scroll, you are looking at the end result of someone else's journey. You aren't seeing the trade offs that they have made to get there. Maybe they have the partner, but they feel like they've lost themselves or they are lonely. Maybe they have the career, but they feel unfulfilled, they are burnt out, and they would rather be doing something else. When you compare your messy, beautiful, unique path to a filtered image, it's like you're trying to measure the ocean with a ruler. It just doesn't work. Honestly, I've had to throw out my old definition of winning. We are taught that a win is something you can put in your resume, post on social media, or show off. But lately, I've been noticing the quiet wins, the ones that enhance and support my mental health and actually change the quality of my life. For example, maybe your win for the past 6 months wasn't a promotion. Maybe it was finally learning how to say no without feeling like the world is going to end. Or maybe it was just realizing that you don't have to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. If you've spent years in survival mode, just being able to sit in a room and feel safe is a massive achievement. And society isn't going to give you a trophy for that, but your nervous system is going to give you your life back for it. We need to start counting the invisible progress, like the cycles you are breaking or the way you are starting to advocate for yourself. So, what do we do when that I am a failure spiral starts? Because it will. When I feel the panic rising, I just try and remind myself that it's just usually my inner critic reading from an outdated script. I have found it helpful to pause and acknowledge whose voice I'm hearing. Is this my voice or is this my parents' voice? Or is it a random person from high school that I haven't seen in 10 years? Most of the time, the pressure we feel isn't even ours. I also try to get back to my body because when we feel behind, we are living entirely in our heads, obsessing over a future that hasn't happened. I just remind myself, I am here, I am safe, I am in my own unique path. It's not about fixing the feeling. It's about not letting the feeling drive the car. You don't have to have it figured it out today. You just have to be okay exactly where you are, even if where you are feels a little messy right now.